Cause we is back once again with another reaction video, bruh. And today, I'm coming back with another reaction for y'all here, man. And got another lit video for y'all, bruh. You already know what time it is. We got Mr. Nightmare coming back once again with another video, man. 3 disturbing true horror stories. First story out of the 3 we're about to be checking out right here, man. Hopefully you guys will enjoy this. I'm back once again with the daily reactions. Thank y'all for being here. Thanks for all my returning subscribers. Thanks for all my new subscribers. We almost at 100 subscribers, man. We almost at 100 subscribers. That's a lot. That is a lot, man. Cause I started a year ago, you know what I'm saying, at 0, you know what I'm saying, and we're gonna jump back into it. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. We almost at 100. We're like at 80, 87. So we almost at 100. Go down, like, subscribe to the channel, man, if y'all new. For more reactions, leave me another reaction down below if you guys are new, and I will react to anything you guys want. So let's get it. Let's go. We got Mr. Nightmare. He always do these horror stories. Now he always come up with these horror stories. I don't know if it's real or if it's true. It says true in the title, so obviously it's true. Halloween's right around the corner, so we about to be getting the Halloween spirit, getting the horror spirit, you know what I'm saying, and just getting that vibe, man. I don't know who don't like Halloween. We all love Halloween, so we about to be getting to that vibe right now, checking out the stories. It is nighttime, but I will not get scared. But anyways, go down, like and subscribe to the channel down below for more reactions. Let's get it. And if you guys don't subscribe to the channel, man, it's all right. It's all right. Let's hit the like button, bruh. Let's go.
When I was 19, I worked as a camp counselor at a summer camp. The job would be to entertain and chaperone a large group of kids with a bunch of other counselors for 3 sessions for the summer.
I gotta go back.
Job would be to...
Now, usually he will say what kind of stories these are, but this is just 3 random stories. First story, let's get it.
Camp counselor at a summer camp. The job would be to entertain and chaperone a large group of kids with a bunch of other counselors for 3 sessions for the summer. That meant 3 different groups of kids would come at different points in the summer. I think
I remember something like that. The little camp things. I remember that. I swear I remember that. It was like a middle school trip, and we took to this this one county in our state. It's like all full of woods. It was like it was a field trip. And we went to a camp, and I remember like it was like these camp counselors, like you just said, who was just in charge of like each group of the camp, and like we all camped in the woods at night. We each had our little it's like a camp advisor. You just advise each and every camp, but we had this little camp in the woods, and we would like camp out there for the night. And I remember like our own little separate camp advisor had our one little group, and we all did activities throughout the day. It was so cool, man. But anyways,
which meant I was away from home for this job for a total of 6 weeks.
That's what reminded me of for some reason. My 6th grade
group came. Summer was
field trip. We played go camping.
I was ready to finish this job and get home. At some point during the 2nd week of the 3rd session, the final week of the job for the season, one of the kids in my group, named Todd, wasn't feeling good. So he wanted to go back to the cabin to go to sleep while everyone else was around the campfire. When we got back to the cabin for 10 to 12-year-old boys, I left Todd to brush up and go to bed. Upon exiting the cabin, a little girl, probably 8 years old, was waiting in front. She wasn't supposed to be in this section, especially not alone at this hour at her age. I asked her where her group was. She didn't answer me. I asked her what her name was. She said Willa. I asked her what her counselors' names were. She didn't answer.
What the heck?
I took her hand and brought her into the front section of the cabin.
Some random little girl.
I told her to wait there. I started to run across the camp to the other activity sections, hoping to find the girls' group. When I couldn't find them, I ran straight for the section with the girl cabins. I found one of the female counselors with a small group of 7 to 8-year-old girl campers.
That was probably was
girls named Willa in their group. The counselor was certain there was no one with that name in any of the girls' groups, actually.
What?
Next thing I did was run back to the boys' cabin where I left the girl, with plans of bringing her to the front office building. When I got back to the cabin, however, she wasn't there. I went
That's
towards
kind
the
of
back section
predictable.
by the beds
I
and
predicted
asked
it.
Todd if he'd seen a girl walk in there, to which he looked confused and said no. So now in a
Wow, where did
panic,
she go?
I ran outside and
She
looked
wasn't
in the
she
immediate
didn't
area of the
exist.
cabin for the girl, when suddenly I heard a girl's scream come from the woods. I was beyond shook. I can't
Oh
even
my
come up
gosh.
with better words to use for how I was feeling when I heard that scream. I wanted to run for help, but I felt like whatever danger she could be in could be time sensitive. So I ran into the woods calling Willa's name. I didn't return any calls back for a while, and I felt like I was hopelessly running into the dark woods. Until finally, after some time, and calling the name Willa constantly, there was a scream echoing through the woods, very close this time. I continued a bit further, and there she was. That little girl named Willa. She was standing straight in front of a tree looking at me, as if she were
What?
waiting. I
What
told her
the
to come to
heck?
me in a quiet voice.
That's
as
creepy.
I slowly approached her. But then she
She's a
turned
ghost.
and started running.
See,
I didn't know why she
that's how it be in the scary movies. It's like every time there's like a kid involved in like in a horror movie, they always like seem like they don't exist, and they just bait them. Basically, they just bait the whoever it is that's playing in the horror movie. They just bait them into actually getting murdered by some like actual monster. Like it always happen every time. It's like the kid never exists. They always run off, and you gotta go chase after them, and then you just hear like them laughing and giggling in a creepy horror way. Like I don't know.
She was surprisingly fast, but I kept up. I saw
This
her
happens
slow
every
down
time in
and
horror
step ahead.
movies.
My
Every
vision
time.
of her was intruded by a few trees, as it was the whole time I was chasing her. I stopped and hid behind a tree, thinking maybe I could sneak up on her and grab her if I was quiet enough. And I noticed something in the near distance. It was some small, dim red light waving around behind some foliage. The girl then ran over to the light and apparently ducked down out of sight. I was
What?
trying to put the pieces together, just as I saw some larger figure emerge from where the girl had just disappeared to. And this figure was crouch walking in my direction. I was able to put two and two together and assume this was some kind of trap. So I turned and ran. No, sprinted all the way back to the campgrounds and ran straight for the main
You
office.
seen a dark figure
I
behind the
spoke
girl?
with the camp coordinator, Jackie. Told her about the suspicious activity that just took place and advised that all camp activity should be cut short for the night.
You think?
Any incident like this would be treated very seriously for the safety of the children and the well-being of the camp's reputation. Authorities had been alerted about suspicious activity on the campground. They came, I helped them with their report, and they left. By morning, everything was back to normal. The season was over before we knew it, and that was that. I have my own theories of what I witnessed in the woods that night. The most logical has to be the possibility that a man was using that little girl, maybe his daughter, as some kind of bait to lure unsuspecting victims into
See?
the woods. And what would happen next? I have no
Who
idea.
knows?
I'm
Oh,
glad
that's
I didn't
crazy.
find out.
So whoever that figure was with the little girl, I like how you explained that because I was like lost like at first. I'm like, who was behind that little girl? Was this some dark figure crunched over, like waiting for what I'm saying, a fish line to bring the fish in? Like what the heck? Like obviously he was baiting that situation. Like that's crazy. Like I don't get it. I'm happy to explain it. It must have been like his father, like her father, or like some other like figure that was with that girl. That's creepy though if you think about it. It's still kind of creepy. You know what I'm saying? And wild. But anyways, it just brings back so many memories when we went back to that camp. Like when I went to my field trip, and we went out to the woods and we did all these activities and stuff like every day. We spent the night in the cabin. It was so cool. It was like a little all wooden like mini cabin. It was like with 2 bunk beds, and our advisor, our camp advisor was like there, and it was like me and like 3 other like boys. And sleeping in like at the inside the cabin, the thing, whatever. It was cool. It was so cool, man. It was like from my field trip, man. That was so cool. It just brought back so many memories of that, man. We did activities and stuff the next day, and like the girls had like it was just all the girls, and it was like all the boys. It was exactly like what he explained it. So that was pretty cool. But anyway, I enjoyed that story for that reason. I enjoyed it, and yeah, it was kind of creepy, man. Yeah, like the little girl. But anyways, on the story 2, if you guys enjoyed that one. Let me know in the comments. Let's get it. Story number 2.
I've I've been through a lot of hellish experiences in my life, but this one takes the cake. It was about 20 years ago, so I was around 20 years old.
Around 20 years
It
old.
was way before cell phones and navigation garments.
Yep.
I was working off the books for a media company at the time, who were paying me for my photography and videography skills. I had all of the top quality video equipment for the time, which held to today's standards would be like comparing a Nokia to an iPhone. I was being paid to go out into the wilderness and record hours worth of background footage of lakes, trees, etc.
What?
They would use this as stock
Sounds
footage for various
boring. I'm just
documentaries
kidding.
and such.
That actually would be
Drove
kind of
about
cool.
half an hour to find a good place in rural Maryland.
Capturing some
to do the
images,
shoot.
peaceful.
Then I parked my car on a dirt road and hiked for a while, finding a few good shooting locations. It was good for me to get sunset and nighttime shots as well, as different times of day created different lighting for the videos.
Ooh,
I
the
figured I
background
had
music
enough.
is creepy.
I started packing up my copious amounts of equipment and threw my 2 bags over my shoulders and began walking. And walking. And walking. I started to realize
Night
I
vision.
should have reached the dirt road where my car was by
Night
now.
vision.
There came a time when I had to accept it. I was lost. I had absolutely no way
That's
of knowing
scary.
which way was which.
Lost in the woods at night. You
I've
don't know
done
where to go.
wilderness shoots before, and never
No
had I run into that problem
navigations?
before. But usually I'd have a compass with me. Not this time.
Not this time.
I kept walking for so long, it got to the point that I was letting out little cries to myself in stress, wanting nothing more than to just find my car and go home,
Right.
feeling absolutely helpless. Eventually, after many hours,
Scary.
I came across a small building. It was an old house that appeared to be abandoned in the middle of the woods, indicated by the vines crawling up the sides of the home, plus the broken glass.
I always wonder, like, like in woods, if you want to build something out in the random woods, who owns that land? Like, can you actually build anything out in the woods and actually live there and camp there, like, without nobody knowing? Like, that'd be cool. Like, I'm a city boy. I'm from the city, but like, I never thought, like, I never like been up there like that. Other than my field trip, I never been to the woods. I never really been to a camp. But I think it's pretty cool to actually go up there. You know what I'm saying? You can build stuff in the woods, deep in the woods, and nobody knows. Probably build some underground, like an underground tunnel or whatever you want. Like, that's kind of cool, man. Like, that's what I would do. Build like a big old cabin in the
Walk around
woods.
in the woods in the night was the last thing I wanted to
But
do.
that's creepy,
Seeking
man.
refuge
That'd be
for the
cool
night
and
made more
creepy.
sense. I walked up the wooden stairs to the front door, which seemed
Have
to
some
have
tea
already been
every
broken
night.
in. All I had to do was push it with a bit of force, and I was inside. It was next to pitch black. In
Some
there.
house in the
Every
woods.
step I
Look at
took,
that. That's
I felt
so
like I was
creepy.
stepping on rubble or trash.
They can't
I,
trust
however,
that.
managed to find the bedroom of the house, which still
Oh,
had
no,
a bed
no.
in it. Mind you, probably a filthy bed at that. But it beat sleeping in the woods or hiking around any
Oh
longer
yeah.
in the dark.
Nah, I still want to sleep on that
Shut the
bed.
door, left my stuff on the floor.
There was
Leaned
dust
down
that is
the
on
bed
there,
as I
bruh.
pushed it.
Ooh, that just sends shivers down my spine, bruh. Just thinking about
Tried my
that
best to fall
abandoned
asleep in this
bed.
dark, abandoned,
Ugh.
foreign location in the middle of the woods. It was surreal, and it was scary. The window in the room was broken, so I could hear the wind and bugs outside.
Oh my gosh.
Over that,
The wind and bugs. How you hear bugs outside? Well, now you can't probably hear them flying. If it's like a fly bird.
I looked up, and even though it was dark, I could vaguely see a closet door in the corner. It was moving. It had to be the draft. It had to be. I was letting my paranoia get the better of me in this freakish situation. But then, over the sound of the bugs and wind, I heard something from inside the room now.
Oh man.
It was a gurgling type sound.
What the
Throat
heck?
noise. I looked at the closet again. Something was
That's
coming out from
creepy,
the
bro.
darkness
Do you
of the
hear
closet.
that? Oh my
I pulled
gosh,
myself
bro.
off the ground. And within arm's reach now, I was staring at someone else in this room in this abandoned house in the middle of the forest.
What?
Here's my description of what I saw in the brief moments I was staring at this person. I saw a man wearing a woman's wig with some kind of makeup on his face.
Oh my gosh,
As
bro.
for
Are
what he
you
was
serious?
wearing, I didn't really notice that, but I think it was something dark since I couldn't really see it. I grabbed my bags and started saying I'm sorry as I ran out of the house. I didn't know if this was their house or not at the time, but either way I didn't want any trouble. As I ran away from the house, I heard footsteps tailing behind me at first, I think this is when the adrenaline
Oh.
really kicked in. I suddenly had this insane amount of energy to keep running until I felt I had escaped.
He
And
said
after
the
that,
same
I
amount of
kept running,
energy.
hopping over
Like out of
logs,
nowhere,
rocks, and twigs,
bruh. Like, that's
trying to
crazy.
find a road, any road.
So you be tired,
Granted that
like
there's
one
only
say
so
you
much
just
forest left in this
all of a
state,
sudden
I'd
you
have to
just
run into
out
the
of
road
there.
eventually. And
So
finally,
that's his
I
rush of
did.
energy.
I walked down the road.
Oh, that is
Within
crazy.
10 minutes, a car passed, and I hitchhiked my way back to my
You
truck.
hitchhike your way.
On my way home, I had time to reflect. That house was absolutely abandoned. The door and all the windows were smashed open. There was trash all over the place. I can't use logic to explain it, because it's not explainable. I am grateful I was unharmed, though.
Oh my gosh, bruh. What the heck? That is creepy. Ooh, that was creepy. Luckily you got away. I got the last story of the
My
day.
complex sits in a pretty safe neighborhood, so I guess I'm naturally less on guard as far as break-ins and whatever. There was this one night I'd gotten home late from a bar with friends, and though I wasn't very drunk anymore, I was definitely still tipsy. To give a little context to my apartment layout, it's on the ground level and has 2 doors, a front and back. As I entered, I was in the living room, greeted by my dog Chester. Then I passed the living room to walk down a tiny hallway to my room. Chester followed, though he was acting a little weird. I jumped right into bed. I was exhausted. I fell asleep in minutes, and the next thing I remember is waking up to growling. I looked at Chester, who was standing up on my bed, looking at the far corner of the room.
That's funny.
I sat up to see what he
Chester.
was looking at, but it was too dark. I had to flip on the lamp. That's when I noticed that he was looking at the closet door, which was cracked
crazy.
open just barely. Right away, I felt a pain in my stomach as I feared the worst. I lightly tapped him to get him to shut up for a second, and he looked at me and went silent. I got out from the bed as he watched me tiptoe closer to the closet. If someone was in there, I had to be ready to defend myself. So instead of opening that door right then and there, I hurried to the kitchen to get a knife. Chester followed me. When I got back into my room, I don't know where it came from. I had a huge bout of confidence overcome me, and I rushed open the closet door fully. I was shocked, but also relieved to see no one inside. I called Chester an idiot as I went back to the kitchen and put the knife away.
You called your own dog an
I got
idiot.
back into the room. I
Idiot.
saw Chester looking under my bed, growling again. I
Under
bent
your
down
bed?
to take a look, and there was a man hiding under my bed. We made eye
What?
contact for a second, and then I grabbed Chester and ran outside to knock on the neighboring
What the
apartment's
heck?
door. My neighbor opened in his pajamas, and I begged him to let me in after explaining that someone was in my apartment.
Dude.
He let me in immediately and let me use his phone to
Can you
call the
imagine
police. The
what was
intruder
hiding
wasn't
in your
the
bed,
apartment
bro?
anymore by the time the police came
That's
and searched
crazy.
the place. If it weren't for my tiny little chihuahua who couldn't harm a fly, I may not have come out of this in one piece.
Yeah. That's creepy right there. I mean, if you think about it, that's creepy, man. If you would have peacefully went right back to sleep, had them good old dreams. That's crazy, man. Let me know down below if you guys enjoyed this video and my reaction. Which was your favorite story of today out of these 3, man? Definitely, I think. We'll probably say this first and second one. Probably the second one, then the first one, because I like the first one because it related to me. But definitely the second one, I guess. I like they all was all right. It was all right. I definitely seen better. Anyways, this was from Mr. Beast, man. 3 disturbing true horror stories. I'm back once again on the grind, guys. Everyday uploads. Yeah, man. I'm not gonna go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Until we reach the top, until we get to we need to get. I will always be here, guys. So thank you guys for being here. Hit me up with another video request if you guys want to see more videos and everyday uploads. You never know what you're gonna get, so be sure to stay tuned on this channel. Thank you guys for my returning subscribers. Thank you guys for my new subscribers. We almost at 100, man. Let's get it. Let's go. Go down, like and subscribe to the channel down below for more reactions. Let's get it. And if you guys don't subscribe to the channel, it's all right. That's all right. At least hit the like button, bruh. That's the least y'all can do.